Cooking tip number 2.
So excuse my hand for shaking so fucking much. I just got finished doing arms. My arms are very shaky, but I did want to share this point. I think this is appropriate for a lot of people coming into the winter. Now, I'm going to be cutting most of this winter, but I know a lot of guys like to bulk, and I bulked fucking hard the last 2 winters. So I do have a lot of experience in that area, and I did it very, very fucking seriously. But a big problem that a lot of people have is the eating. They just can't eat enough, or they find it very difficult to get in enough calories. And it's not as if it's easy for everyone, or for some people, or some people are just naturally better at eating. Now, obviously there's some people who have a bigger appetite, but if you're bulking, usually it's going to be difficult to eat all the food that you need to eat. For me, that was the case. I was always going around constantly full. You didn't have a flat stomach at any stage. Now, that's not necessarily healthy, and I don't promote every single person to do it. But for some people, they do want to be the biggest that they can possibly be, and that's usually a good avenue to choose, especially if you're natural like me. So, obviously, bulking's a part of it, and people do find it difficult. So what is it that you can exactly do? Now, for me, it was just a decision. And that's the first things first. If you're bulking, it needs to be a decision. You can't be flopping between cutting and bulking, because one stage you think you look too fat, so you start cutting, and then you think you look too skinny, and then you start bulking again. It needs to be an all-out commitment. Once you've got that down, get a structure for eating. I was eating around the same time every single day, and I just stuck to it. And you just naturally start to get into this rhythm. And your body just adapts to the amount that you're eating, how consistently you're eating it as well. And that's what I did. Now, for me, it was just like a switch. And that caused me to put on a lot of weight very quickly. I would actually advise most people, do commit to the bulk, but don't just go on to this high amount of calories immediately. Slightly ease into it, but don't do it so slowly that you hardly gain any weight. And keep in mind, that's dependent on each person. Some people like to do a lean bulk, and they'll just do it nice and slow. But this is for you guys who are either dirty bulking, or you're late in your bulk, and you're finding it difficult to get in the amount of food that you really need. And I'm going to give you some tips, small tips at the end of this, but the main thing is just fucking commit to it. If you're going to be eating big, eat big every day. If you find that it's affecting you negatively, then just take a small break from it. Don't destroy your body trying to eat all this food. Take a small break and then come right back to it. Get that fresh perspective. Realize what your goals are and hit them hard. Now, as far as getting in extra calories, there is the simple things which a lot of people know. Now, some people are newbies and they'll not know this, but a simple way to get in extra calories is just adding in fats to your meals. So for example, and I sort of prefer, now you can do it both ways. You can cook with extra fat. Like say you're making burgers, instead of grilling it, you can just throw some fat in the frying pan and just cook it with a lot of fat and serve it with all the fat as well. That's very heavy, I've noticed, and I don't really like the cooked sort of fats. It really does feel taxing on the body. So what I like to do is say you're having the grilled burger, have the grilled burger, but then have a salad with it, and with that salad put on some olive oil, throw on some nuts. That's going to be extra fat calories. If you're having mashed potatoes, just up the portion. Just be like, do you know what? Today I need up the portion. Increase your portion. Another thing is if you're using fat, or if you're using milk, you can use whole fat milk. For me, I don't take any cow's milk. I usually stick to rice milk or oat milk. But you can go from using a semi-skimmed or skim milk to whole fat milk. And also with butter, this is what I used to do, was just add in extra butter. But don't be focusing solely on getting in extra fats. You can't just be eating extra nuts and all these different things and focusing solely on fat. Still try to get in extra carbs. And sometimes that is the case for people, that they eat a lot of simple sugars. I don't necessarily advise that, because I've noticed, for me, it just wouldn't be worth it. Because if I was eating a lot of poor quality foods, the energy just wouldn't be the same in the gym. So you need to strike a balance, that you have enough energy in the gym, you have a well-varied diet, but still commit to the bulk. Figure out ways that you can do it. For me, it was just increasing the portions. If I was having, say, spaghetti bolognese, straight up just doubled my usual pasta portions, increase the amount of mince that I was having. And for me right now, I'm cutting. I always drain the fat out of my meat. If I'm cooking meat in a pan, I'll just drain any fat out of it. If you're bulking, you can start to keep that fat in there. But if you're going to increase your calories, try and make it balanced. Don't just go increase carbs or just increase fats. Slightly increase, or maybe you might want to do it in a big percentage, but increase those carbs, increase those fats. If you want to, you can slightly increase that protein as well. Don't give up on vegetables and fruit. You will need them to function effectively. And keep in mind, try and stick to as healthy a diet as possible, but still get in those calories. If you need to get big, that's what you have to do. Commit. increase the calories with your meals, increase portion sizes, and this was the thing that I did. I always waited until I was very hungry for my meal, but I only ate 2 meals a day. A lot of people promote eating 6 meals, but what I noticed with that was the people that eat 6 meals a day usually aren't really that hungry, because if they're bulking, they're not going to be small meals, they're usually slightly bigger, and it's like as if you're constantly getting in enough calories and you don't feel hungry for your next meal. If you don't feel hungry, it's going to be hard to sit down and eat that. For me, I used to do my workouts in the morning and wait until like 12 p.m. in the day, and then just make a massive ass meal, eat all of it, eat it fast enough but still chew it correctly, and then wait about another 68 hours and then have a second big meal. But it's up to you. As long as you're getting in the calories, you're going to get results. If you're putting in the work in the gym, you're going to get the results, but stick to it. Get in those calories if you're bulking, decrease those calories if you're cutting, and that's it for now. Cooking tip number 2. Boom.